Please enjoy this spoiler-filled recap of the 2005 film, Green Street Hooligans. Let's get into it. Matt Buckner is kicked out of his journalism course at Harvard, after cocaine is found in his room. The cocaine actually belonged to his roommate Jeremy Van Holden, but Matt is hesitant to speak up because the Van Holdens are a powerful family. He ends up accepting $10,000 for taking the fall. Feeling lost, he then moves to the United Kingdom to stay with his sister, Shannon, and her husband, Steve Dunham, as well as their young son Ben. Matt soon meets Steve's younger brother Pete, who is eventually persuaded to bring him to a football match. They first go to their pub known as the Abbey, where Matt meets Pete's friends, and fellow members of the firm the Green Street Elite, or GSE. Matt has a good time at the Abbey and is accepted by most of the members, except for Pete's right-hand man, Bobber. They go and watch the match together. Then Matt decides to go home alone and not get involved in the post-match fighting. Despite this, he is jumped by some rival Birmingham fans before being rescued by the GSE. They continue to a larger fight where they refuse to run away, despite being outnumbered. Matt fights alongside the GSE, and they hold their own until reinforcements come and chase off the Birmingham firm. Standing and fighting with the GSE earns him respect and acceptance with the firm. Steve becomes very angry when seeing that Pete and Matt have been out fighting with the firm, and things escalate very quickly. In the aftermath, Matt moves out to go live with Pete. Soon after, the Green Street Elite are heading to an away game against Manchester United. Matt sneaks onto the train to join them, despite not being supposed to come. While on the train they receive a warning, that 40 Manu firm members will be waiting for them at the station. It appears they are trapped and can only get off at the last station to be attacked, but Bobber hits the emergency stop button allowing the GSE to get off the train at an earlier station and avoid the ambush. They have no luck finding a taxi but end up persuading a van driver to take them into Manchester. Matt, sitting in the front with the driver, tells Manu fans that they are just moving equipment for a film, so they are allowed to pass. After getting by, they open the door and attack the Manu firm members, and win the fight. We are excited to watch as West Ham United draws to play against Millwall, in the upcoming quarter-final game. Matt is seen by one of the members of the firm meeting his father for lunch, who is a famous journalist for the Times. After seeing this, they assume Matt is a journalist, reporting on them. Bobber informs Pete, and then when Steve finds out, he goes to the Abbey to give Matt a warning. Matt then finds out that Steve used to be the Major, the legendary former leader of the GSE. The last game that Steve went to as the Major was against Millwall, where Tommy Hatcher had brought his 12-year-old son. His son was killed in the fighting, and since then Tommy has always blamed the GSE, and especially Steve for his son's death. Steve left the firm for good after seeing what happened to Tommy's son. Matt is confronted, as they think he is a journalist reporting on them. Pete stops Bobber from hitting him more, and Bobber questions his leadership. This leads him to go to Millwall to find Tommy Hatcher and the Millwall firm. He tries to persuade them to attack the Abbey. At first, they are uninterested, but then Bobber informs them that Steve will be there. And Tommy Hatcher finally confronts Steve Dunham. Steve tries to convince Tommy that he is no longer involved in this life, but Tommy is only reminded of his son, and stabs Steve in the neck with a bottle. He tells him that if he dies tonight, then they are even. Bobber had been knocked out earlier by Tommy, but comes back in time to help Steve. At the hospital, Bobber feels huge amounts of remorse and Pete confronts him for his betrayal. In the aftermath of the attack, the two rival firms meet for a massive brawl. Matt and Bobber both come to support and fight for GSE. During the fight, Matt's sister Shannon arrives with her son and they are attacked by a Millwall firm member. Matt and Bobber rescue them, but soon after Tommy Hatcher is approaching Shannon, likely seeking revenge. Pete tries to distract Tommy, and tries to taunt him to come finish him instead. This doesn't work until Pete starts yelling about Tommy's son. Tommy then loses control and beats Pete to death. This halts the fight as Tommy is dragged away, and members of both sides stand around Pete's body. They are all shocked as they didn't intend for things to go this far. Matt soon returns to the States where he is able to confront Jeremy Van Holden in a restaurant bathroom. He finds Jeremy there, doing more cocaine, and records him admitting that it was his fault Matt got kicked out of Harvard. Matt informs Jeremy that it will be his ticket back to Harvard, and easily defends himself when Jeremy tries to take the recorder. He decides not to attack Jeremy further, but leaves him in the bathroom defeated. The film finally ends with Matt walking down the street singing the firm's old song, likely feeling nostalgic about his time in the United Kingdom, and sad for his friend Pete, but also happy, and grateful for how his time with Pete and the GSE gave him the ability to stand up for himself and put things right. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe for more.